My name is Ahmad Ali Karim. I come under multiple umbrella bodies here. There's supposed to be a video later, but I forgot to give the access. Never mind, we won't show the video. But basically, I recently, this year, I was appointed as the regional youth coordinator for RCE's under the United Nations University, which is, to put things simply, a global network of institutions moving towards developing education for sustainable development. And I'm also representing Wikimedia Community User Group Malaysia as the External Relations Ambassador, and also my university as a student and also as a youth coordinator for my university. But that aside, myself aside, the most important thing is to cover this whole subject to begin with, which is, to start off, I have a question for all of you. What did we learn from our experience during COVID-19 in relation to education? And I think this is something that, if I leave this question, there'll be multiple different answers, so many things, just within even within the education sector only. But the ones that I want to highlight today will be three main points, I guess. First is the relevance of education institutions or academia when facing crisis, and this is something that has been in the talks for long time. And when COVID-19 happens, we really see it happening. That sometimes as much as we look up towards higher education institutions, we see that they're not preparing our people to face crisis. They're just preparing our people to go into industries and work, which is very unfortunate. We should be preparing ourselves to be more ready for the future. And secondly is the value of education. That on its own is being questioned. It's very unfortunate that we're questioning education itself, or knowledge, in fact. Especially in some rural areas nowadays, after COVID-19, at least in Malaysia, many people have just disregarded going to schools or going to universities because they find that even if they do get education, nothing about it really adds up to their quality of life, because in the end they'll be able to live off work and all anyway, even without a degree. And lastly, it's about the need for a more flexible education system, especially one of the ways to see that is we see about how education faces a big problem when things have to go online. That on its own is an example of education being not flexible. But even things like institutionally, the institutional silos that we have throughout education institutions, how academia is very close in nature as well, which is what I want to go through now. We have a bit of a tradition in academia, and if you're familiar, it's sometimes, I will say it is predatory, in a way that it preys on the people who tries to seek education in order to get certain profits or certain benefits, which in the end doesn't go back to benefit the society or the community in the end. So and again, the close culture, we're very familiar with this in the Wikimedia movement. A lot of the journals are very close access. We have some of them which can be accessed through the Wikipedia library, but it's still not enough. And this is just going to keep on how do I say this, like cultivate and encourage this culture to be promoted more and more, and it's really harming the dissemination of knowledge all over the world. And the thing is that because for most people within academia, this is being rewarded. We have issues, for example, such as the university rankings, where a lot of the ranking institutions reward these more harmful behaviors among the academia, for example. So in the end, it leads to the question that, or the point that in the end, education institutions or the academia only becomes the ivory tower. If you're familiar with the wording, the phrase ivory tower, I'm not sure, in Indian or something, basically it is a very prestigious place, a prestigious tower that people, admire and talk about so greatly, but in reality, it's only accessible by the elites. And this is the reality of academia today, a lot of times, not just because of the cost of education, but also because of the nature of academics itself. So, whereas education or knowledge and science advancements should be catered towards the advancement of the community or development of humans all across the world, not just humans, but even the whole planet. And so this is where the institutions I'm representing today, we one of the things that we try to bring forward is this new concept or new model for academia, which is why is it skipping one slide? Oh, sorry, yeah, there's this slide first. Okay, so basically, academia must be community oriented, and the exploration of knowledge and science must be for the benefit of the people, and so it must address all these needs adequately. And so this is why we are presenting, we have been pushing forward for this model for a long time, which is called Communiversity. Simply put, community, university, stay together, always benefit things together, and so on. But it's not just like a slogan or something fancy to talk about. It's when we want to try to promote a collaborative effort across the world between different institutions to drive a change within the academia towards a more sustainable, inclusive, and relevant academia to begin with. I will not go into the details of it because this is long. This is long. But to put things simply, as you can see, like community transformation, leadership, institutional collaboration, responsible research and innovation, all of these is to try and promote a more healthy environment of the education institutions. I actually wanted to link to the full page. I forgot to provide the QR code because I made the slide while I was on the plane, so I wasn't able to make the QR code and all. But yes, basically this is it. And one of the most important things I want to highlight is the institutional collaboration, community transformation, and also the integration of knowledge, which is both relating to transdisciplinarity and also in the inclusion of indigenous knowledge and wisdom, which is something that academia hates. I won't say that it hates really, but then academia always wants things to be, only from the highest reputable sources, whereas we disregard all of the indigenous knowledge or the local wisdom that we have, and that's something that Wikipedia really promotes, or Wikimedia in general really promotes. So moving forward, the video I can't play it because it's I forgot to give the access name. Go to the next slide. Press the next slide. Okay, thank you. So I won't go into detail on it, but basically we have a lot of people all over the world who comments this whole thing. But what I want to highlight the most is how do we bring together the concept of Communiversity and Wikimedia. Although I did mention just now that Wikimedia really promotes a lot of local wisdom, the empowerment of local wisdom, but it goes beyond that. One of the main things is we are both promoting a global learning commons and just sampling human knowledge and also discriminating one. And one of the key things that for me is, at least because I've been discussing with the person who basically founded this idea, Zoraza, who was director from my university. And one of the things that he always mentions is that he wants all of these things to be within the public domain, meaning that we are all in this together. This thing does not belong to him, even though he founded the idea, even though I made the logo for him, we do not own it. It's for the people to mutually develop, and this is why I want to bring this here. And if there's anyone who wants to work together on this, we're more than welcome. And we've already had multiple collaborations from like Nigeria, Japan, and so on and so forth. And one of the ways that Wikimedia can really drive this forward even more for universities. Okay, because sorry, my mind is just a bit off. But Communiversity is something that education institutions push for, right? So how does Wikimedia play its role in promoting this concept of open education? And so one of the ways that I think makes the most sense is that Wikimedia is a long established and reputable, except for in the academic society, a reputable movement in knowledge dissemination. So through this, I think us as Wikimedians, we can really work together with a lot of education institutions in trying to drive towards this change for more open education. And one of the examples that we've done, just to show an example of how broad this can be, in Malaysia, we had this big flagship project under Wikimedia Malaysia called Wikikata, where we document indigenous knowledge from the indigenous communities. And we do this together with the Faculty of Contemporary Languages of the university, who not only, while we do all of these projects, while they have to do their research, we basically benefit each other. So the research is, perhaps the research cannot be published in an open access journal because that's very hard in Malaysia. But then at the same time, their research findings can still be utilized by uploading them on Wiktionary and Lingua Libre and so on and so forth. So we work together closely with the academia, with not just my university, but also with the National University of Malaysia for this. And yeah, this is what we did. And fortunately, we managed to secure 2 awards. And this shows that this effort that we want to push for is something that can be commended internationally and something that can be applied in many other places. So what I want to do, so since we can't have a discussion, I'll just put this question into perspective. So first of all, how do we challenge the current narratives such as certain KPIs and ranking systems that push us away from open education? Because as much as we talk about the idealism of having this, it's very hard. Looking at the reality, it's very hard to commit towards this because we all know how the world works, and it's very hard to challenge the current norms of the world. And one of the ones that I want to push towards more is also what are the things that we can learn from our local knowledge and wisdom. Because when it comes to academia, I think one of the things that we see the most is the fact that it's very Western orientated, and nothing against the West, because it really works well for the Western world, but at the same time it doesn't apply to the rest of the world. Even among the Western countries, some of the things in Europe doesn't apply in the United States. That's something that we know. And but unfortunately, in such a high-level institution, it's often disregarded. So these are the 2 things that I want to bring forward. Actually, want to discuss further, but hopefully we can discuss during break times or anything. And if you have anything you want to discuss further, you can also just reach out to me via email, or you can request from me for my card later. And that's all for me. Gracias. Terima kasih. And